This is Jeff Weiss with HRT Unit 14, HRT 211 Plant Propagation Unit 14, which covers preserving genetic resources from crop plants. It's part 2. Last week was about preserving gene plasm and seeds from native plant species. So this week the readings are mainly looking through the website for the Seed Savers Exchange and reading an article about one of the videos. There's a couple of videos. One is a guest speaker, Dave Hodge, who visited the Seed Saver Exchange conference last fall and talked about the photos that he took and things that he learned in that conference. And then there's also a video about the Seed Vault. It's a segment from 60 Minutes of a year or two ago, and a further video by a guy from the Seed Saver Exchange talking about saving vegetable seeds. This week's discussion board is about heirloom seeds, or saving seeds from heirloom varieties of vegetable plants. And there's two assignments. The assignment for the CLC students is to complete a crop schedule for plants for the native plant sale next year. And for non-CLC students, it's an assignment to actually save some seeds for subsequent planting. Key terms and concepts are described here, and we'll put some emphasis on this idea of seed banking and focus on the seed vault in Svalbard in the north of Norway. But we'll also talk about heirloom vegetable varieties and how to preserve their genetic integrity, which is being lost for local varieties of open pollinated crops around the world. So you should be able to distinguish between the plants that are used in industrial agricultural practices versus the traditional horticulture practices, and practices that are in use for preserving the genetic diversity of cultivated plants. So this idea of seed banking is not new, but a big development occurred when an abandoned mine off Norway was converted into a seed vault. And that seed vault now accepts consignments of crop seeds from thousands of sites around the world and stores them at very cold temperatures, preserving them for in a viable state for potentially many years, and making them available in the event of disease or disaster to be preserved and reused in the future. So you can decide for yourself whether this is worthwhile, or what the importance is in maintaining diversity of our plant crops around the world, especially in the face of industrialized agriculture, where just a few varieties of hybrid seeds are being planted globally. They're being developed by agribusinesses and being planted. The same varieties are being planted globally in large farms around the world. So those industrial practices use hybrid seeds, and hybrid seeds are produced by very controlled breeding processes, crosses of inbred varieties, which occurs to produce predictable genetics. And the goal is to achieve specific traits combining the ability of the parent plants, and so, for instance, yields of commodity plants like corn and soybeans has been increased dramatically over the past, especially the past 50 years, uniformity of size and ripening of the seeds, pest resistance. These are goals and accomplishments of current breeding programs. And one of the reasons why corn and soybeans, rice, wheat, and a few other plants have really been spread by humans around the world and dominate the world of agriculture has been their ability of those species to hybridize and be improved for these desired qualities over time. Massive increases in yield have been achieved by the use of hybrids. However, seed collected from hybrids will usually produce mixed offspring. They will not be true to type. So people who want to use hybrids are forced to purchase them from the seed companies year after year. So in addition to not producing predictable true to type offspring, they're also usually or almost always protected by patents, so that not only would these seeds not perform well, it would be illegal to plant them, and seed companies have been pretty aggressive in their enforcement of their patents. So the use of hybrids, as I said, has increased the world's ability to feed itself, but it comes at some other costs. One of those costs is a loss of diversity in the plants that are found throughout the world, and especially in the loss of local varieties that have historically been used by indigenous people and by rural populations to feed themselves. And these local varieties have genetic diversity and traits that are lost from the gene pool or from the genome of these plants when they are replaced by these hybrids. And some of these genes are can confer disease resistance or other diverse traits that might be needed in the future to fight diseases or pests or infestations or other issues that may come up. So some people are quite worried about this loss of diversity, and especially the loss of local character of various food products. So one example is a bean, and here is pictured many examples of this one species of bean, Phaseolus vulgaris, and you can see from the photo many of the varieties that have been produced by breeding and preserved by seed saving, which I'll talk about in a minute, over the past several hundred years. And here is our picture of a bean, of a germinating bean seed. And so in addition to all of the beans that can be produced, the bean sprouts or the germinated seeds are another food source commonly used in many cultures, but especially in Asian cultures and Oriental dishes. So what we eat when we eat bean sprouts is all of these plant parts that you see pictured and labeled on this diagram. So when we talk about saving heirloom varieties or these local varieties of plants, is plants that are not hybridized. In other words, open pollinated plants can produce seeds under the correct conditions that grow up to be just like their parents, and this can happen without them being produced through seed companies carefully controlling the genetics. Instead, small growers and especially organizations like the Seed Saver Exchange in Decorah, Iowa, specialize in preserving these local heirloom varieties of plants, and some of the material that follows will talk about how that's done. So when you save seeds from a particular plant, and especially if it's a heirloom variety, you want those seeds to grow up into plants that have the identical taste and appearance and disease resistance and other qualities as their parents. This is called varietal purity. And an open pollinated plant exhibits varietal purity and breeds true from seed. But they're maintained by allowing a natural flow of pollen between plants of the same variety. Heirloom plants or heirloom seeds are from these open pollinated plants with a long history of being cultivated and saved within a family or group or small group. Could be a local community, could be an ethnic group, but they have evolved by either natural or more likely human selection over time. And like species of plants, these varieties can have very distinctive qualities, and when they're replaced by mass-produced hybrid seeds and are no longer saved, those varieties and those qualities and traits are lost from the gene pool. So an organization in Iowa, Seed Saver Exchange, has been formed to promote, save, and share these heirloom seeds from our heritage, and conserve and promote these diverse, but in many cases endangered garden and food crop varieties by collecting, growing, and sharing them between members. So that's the lesson in a nutshell. To learn more about Seed Savers Exchange, you need to look at Dave Hodges' excellent guest lecture. And to learn more about the Seed Vault in Norway, look at the 60-minute segment in the video section of the assignment. Now, for your discussion question, please describe advantages of saving heirloom seeds versus purchasing seeds from a commercial seed company. And please feel free to give one or more examples of heirloom plants that are produced from saved seeds and why they might be different from their parent plant. Also, based on Dave's lecture, please describe what steps need to be taken to prevent hybridization from occurring and preventing those seeds from being consistent or the same as the parent plants. And then for the non-CLC students, I'm providing an assignment to actually save and talk about all of the steps in seed saving, and think about where and when you want to plant your saved seeds. But for the CLC students, I want to go back to something that we talked about in the lab several weeks ago, and I am giving you this template and asking you to complete a crop schedule for at least 3 of the native plants that we've been working with, 2 forbs and a grass, and to plan ahead and produce a crop schedule for the CLC plant schedule next year, May 7th or 8th, 2015. So if you go to the lab activity, you should see this Excel spreadsheet, and you can go ahead and enter the specific data from the plants that you want to include in your crop schedule into that format, and please submit this as assignment 14 in the Dropbox. And with that, I'm going to turn you loose to look at the videos, the readings, and to continue your work with your class project and class presentation. They are all due as the semester is coming to a close in the next few weeks. Good luck, and let me know if you want to discuss or if you have any questions about any of this. Thank you.